Alright, so the first 20 minutes was up, so now I need to, I'm going to go back just a couple questions just in case I missed, I missed something here. So, let's see, okay, I Need Souls, Endless Nameless, and Milk It are my two favorites. Kurt Cobain was insanely talented. Yeah, that's some pretty that's some of the heaviest, dirtiest um, songs there. Okay. Thank you, Ghost Rage. I appreciate your concern and kindness in your comment about letting people know, be respectful, and thank you. Okay, Tyler Bunch. Tyler's coming to visit, and I'm not sure where you're from, Tyler, but Tyler's coming to the Northwest for a few days, and he contacted me and wants to meet up, so that'll be interesting. He says, I love Spank Through, actually been listening to it daily and learning it. All the songs totally answered my question. Yeah, I mean, Spank Through is such a great song, man. It's I think considered their first release because it was on Sub Pop 200. Yeah, pretty sure. And I remember when that came out, and like my state of mind was like, all right, they got to release something, because I was already familiar. Like Kurt he'd made me two tapes by that point. By the time they released the first song, the first compilation before the 7-inch came out, I was familiar with the whole first tape with Dale and what would be considered the pre-Bleach, actually pre-7-inch recordings. And yeah, so when Spank Through came out, I was really excited. They got to release something that was just like, awesome. I hope it was. I was always like, God, I hope people really like Nirvana. I mean, to me, it just didn't make sense that people wouldn't love Nirvana, right? Well, I was right. um, okay, you could say I was just in the right place at the right time, the right people, or whatever you want to say. But there's some bigger picture behind it. I don't know. It's kind of at this point in life, it's kind of it's created a very very interesting story for a portion of my life that continues today. You know, and actually has been part of like me understanding a little bit more about myself, and that my taste in music or how I hear music in a certain sense, I've been right over and over and over again on, I'm just going to say this, right meaning not in an egotistical way, but with music and with musicians and bands that some have been successful, some didn't become successful just because they fucked up. That's my belief. Or they quit the bands, or they just didn't keep releasing music. But I have a certain ear, and anyway, it's hard to explain, and it's not something different from your ear. It's just how I hear music in a certain way. Why I'm saying this is this point in my life, when I get a hunch about something, I know. I mean, it's like it's almost like I know something about this this is extremely real and really really good, and I can share. I won't go into this right now, but there's a musician currently that I feel is groundbreakingly good. Anyway, we'll have to do another whole nother video on that. Okay. Kurt was such an amazing songwriter, so incredibly unique. Okay, Trannis, thank you, Trannis. Trannis, you're awesome, man. You actually come up with some really cool stuff. You know, yourself. You sent me a tape, and I think that acoustic stuff that you sent me of you singing and playing guitar was super cool, man. Do more. Okay, China Cat Sunflower. Hello, John. Here's a comprehensive list of all known mentions in albums, songs, bands Nirvana had mentioned, enjoyed, owned throughout their career as a band, or had owned, etc. Are there any album songs that are not listed here that you might discussed with Kurt or Chris during the times you've hung out with them back in the 80s? Yeah, I'd have to look. Okay, so this is for China Cat. I looked at your list and I noticed. Okay, so this is. I remember this very specifically. This would have been probably like 1988. Kurt asked me if I'd ever heard Soundgarden, the Screaming Life EP, and I hadn't at that point. And he told me about the song Hunted Down. I think he played Hunted Down for me. And I remember like really liking like Screaming Life EP the first time that I heard it. So he actually turned me on to that, and he was especially a fan of Hunted Down. Now when the time that Kurt came to visit in the house and I lived on 6th Avenue, I had a bunch of records, and he picked out Black Sabbath, Master of Reality, and put it on. Out of all the records I had, Chris put on Janis Joplin, the one that's got like the comics on. I forget the name of the record, but Chris picked that record and put it on. So those ones I remember. I don't think you had the Shocking Blue listed in there. I would have to look. Also, he recorded for me he had a copy, test pressing copy of Bullhead that Buzz had given him, and he recorded that for me, and then recorded Operation Ivy on the same tape. There was a broom left, and that was interesting. Yeah. I think I don't remember what he said about Operation Ivy. I think maybe he had gotten that as a gift on tour or something, and he thought, because I was more into punk rock stuff, like more hardcore or stuff like that. He might have recorded that for me, like, hey, these guys, and our conversations too, because Subvert, we played in the Bay Area, and we knew these bands, so that might have been part of the conversation when I was talking about touring or whatever, and who we're with, and he may have, I'm just jumping to conclusions, but somehow Operation Ivy ended up on that tape, and I seem to remember wanting to finish out the tape, and anyway, I wish I remembered better. 32 years ago, man. Moving on. Yes, I was thinking of Scoff. Thank you, Penny Royal. So those are the only songs I can think of right offhand. I know there's more stuff. I just have to... Alright. Let's see. Chris asks, hey John, do you know Brent Alden from the band False Alarm? Brent Alden that name sounds really familiar. Brent. I know a Brent. in Seattle, but I don't think he was in False Alarm, and I don't think his last name is Alden. Oh, I see. He has a YouTube channel where he talks quite a bit conspiracy theories, and well, I have probably watched. Yeah, I have probably watched that channel. Yeah, it's always interesting to see what people have to say. It's a little upsetting at times because, again, there's so much mythology surrounding Kurt, and and I know some facts about what he was like and people around him, what they were like, and and people really jump to a lot of conclusions at times. But I'll tell you what, I believe El Duce. I really do. And there's a couple of reasons. There's a compounded reason now why I believe El Duce. I won't go into it right now. I know you guys want me to, but I got to keep going on, alright? You guys got a lot of questions and comments here. Alright. Wishka. Dear John, hey, that's really sweet. I have so many questions about Kurt Nirvana. I will make a Kurt Cobain road trip in April this year. I wish if only I could meet Kurt's friend. I'd love to meet, man. You guys just contact me. If you're in the area, I'd love to meet up. It only costs you $500. No, I'm kidding. No. Alright. It'd be great to meet you guys. Okay. Liano. I think Liano's from Chile or somewhere. Hi, I talked with you before. I love Nirvana. I do covers. Oh, that's right. He does amazing covers of Nirvana stuff. That's right. He says, do you believe that attention deficit, family problems, drug success had worst the existence, him, auto existence, at the point to not continue, continues, stay some days, sorry my miserable English. So, oh yeah, there's no doubt about it. I don't know, I think not having very much peace in his life probably when he got home from tour. Those guys toured a lot, man. Like after, but fucking Nevermind comes out. I mean, those guys are on tour until he dies. I mean, he's home a little bit, like a couple months here and there, or maybe a month. But I don't think he was able to really get. I'm really surprised they had time to write an album. Which they did. But there's a lot of things that were affecting him. I mean, he got drugs, successes, excesses. I think that's what he means, like drug excesses. Yeah, I mean, it's all of that will not make your existence better in life, So, yeah, I mean there's a lot there, Thank you. There's a lot more I could talk about, but we need to move on. Aero Zeppelin and Mexican Seafood are my favorite Nirvana songs. Dale is one of GOAT. Okay. Nah, I would say Dale's just a dedicated, heavy drummer, and he's like a brother from another mother. I mean, in a sense, it's like we started playing exact same time in bands and playing shows together. So both Dale and Buzz to me are old friends. I don't see very often, but whenever we do get in contact again, it's always really, really cool. It's always really good. Um, and you know, I feel a lot in common with Dale and Buzz early on. You know, really, there's just, you know, and if you guys have watched and listened to my videos enough of me talking, you understand. Um, so okay, is there any insight you can shine towards the hidden meaning behind some Nirvana songs Kurt may have told you, or etc.? I don't think there's any hidden meanings, you guys. If anybody's talking about hidden meanings, it's their hidden meanings they found. I think Kurt wrote lyrics, and some of the lyrics may have multiple meanings because that's kind of how it happens. You can't always write lyrics in one sitting, you know, and you may be like, you write some lyrics here and then something inspires you to write more lyrics. You can't always stay on the same concept. So sometimes a song may seem like it brings together this, you know, um, but he explained to me who Francis Farmer was, because I didn't understand who Francis Farmer was. So the last time I saw him, he explained more about Francis Farmer. So that Francis Farmer will have a revenge in Seattle. He did explain to me about that, and Swap Meat. I had asked him. Well, I did videos about these, so I had asked him about lyrics, and yeah, so if you can find those videos, I'm talking a little bit, but there's nothing hidden, you guys. I mean, hidden meanings. You can create your own meanings if you want, and he even said that in an interview or something. He said you can interpret it how you want. So there you go. Kyle, let's see. Hey, thank you, Kyle. No, he's leaving a nice message. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Okay. Planet Oblivious. Be careful. I mean, you think it's untrue? You think it's misled? Speak on it, bud. Hope you're doing well. This is regarding regarding any theories that circle around Kurt's death. Now, one thing I want to say right now, there's a lot I'd like to say, and anyone that's watched my videos long enough knows some things that I feel, but there's a lot of myths that truth is something that can't be denied. So say within what say evidence is involved, we have phone calls, we have police reports, we have little things here and there that you can consider fact. But then even with the amount of heroin that they say that Kurt did, you know, the day he died, we don't know the facts around that, okay? It doesn't mean that he didn't do 1.5 milligrams or whatever it was, okay? But we don't know. We've never seen any paperwork. All we have is people telling us this. That's what I'm talking about. So if you create lots of conclusions around things that don't actually have substantial evidence, then you're doing yourself a disfavor. But there is much strangeness, and this is the last thing I'll say about that. I feel that whatever happened, something happened we're not being told. Whether Kurt killed himself or didn't, something happened we're not being told. It's just too freaking obvious. And